Yeah, we actually recorded this as people, and I somehow lost it. So I've asked Josh to come back. Poor
There we go.
Josh. Wanted to explain some things because people have been saying some really nasty things about Mark Sargent and calling him all sorts of things. And Josh went and did some homework himself, didn't you, Josh? And if Josh can do this, anybody can do this. So, Josh,
Yeah, trust me.
again, Josh, what did you find?
Well, first off, one of the biggest comments that I kept hearing was how you can't find anything on Mark till 2015, and about how he just came out of nowhere, so obviously he's a CIA agent.
Yes.
Went online real quick, and I did a search, and I was trying to find like news stories or newspaper articles or hell, high school, just anything, And I did a search for Mark Sargent, Boulder, Colorado, 1990, some stuff. As a matter of fact, his old blogger post popped up. If anyone's ever used, was set up in like 2009, which is what, 6 years before they keep saying that they can't find any information on him.
The point to this was, though,
So
that it was because everybody just said that he just jumped out of nowhere and you could find him
yeah,
well
that
back.
he just basically fell from the sky, like so obviously he's a CIA shill. He's a CIA agent and he's a shill because nobody can find anything before 2015. If that's if that's the standard of this research community, that's horrible. If nobody else could find anything before 2015, that's horrible. Because I don't even consider myself that extensive of a researcher or that great of a researcher.
And
But I mean,
just explain again the bits that you found about Mark Sargent.
yeah, like regarding
Yeah.
this blogger post, it's it's not mentioning anything about flat Earth. It's not mentioning anything that's going on right now. His whole blog was actually just about truth and conspiracies. And again, he put his name and his phone number out like he does now in his videos. Apparently he's always been very open to in contact with him. And then as far as his website, marksargent.com, I guess that was created in what? It by this page right here on who is marksargent.com. It says that it was registered 3/15/2012. But on this site, it doesn't actually tell you who the original person that registered it was. It tells you who owns it now. Uh, and it also shows that it's owned by Ralph Reel, not Mark Sargent. And anyone who knows Mark already knows that he never, ever really pushes marksargent.com. He hardly ever even mentions it. The website that he's always talking about is enclosedworld.com. Like, Karen, how often have you heard Mark talk about marksargent.com?
Never.
Can you really think of him talking about it?
No, not on my Hangouts.
So, not really on anything. Like, he mentions it briefly on his show every now and then. That's only if whoever he's talking to is kind of pushing him, asking him, like, well, where can we go to get more information? Like, and he always says enclosed world first, and then he says, Oh, and you can also find me at marksargent.com. Like, marksargent.com is like the backup, like the bastard stepchild kind of thing.
Could you just explain what actually happened? What has actually happened with this marksargent.com? You know, like this Ralph.
Well, Ralph could have bought the website at pretty much any time. Apparently, from his interview with Patricia the other day, he bought it in 2016 for like $800 or like about $1,000 or something like that. And he did that because he realized that Mark would. It seemed like Mark was gaining popularity, you know. He was kind of dabbling into flat Earth, and Mark Sargent was one of the biggest names in flat Earth, and kind of has been since the beginning. So why wouldn't he contact? You know what? I can almost bet you he probably even contacted like Eric Dubay and Matt Powerland. But how Eric responds to most things, he probably didn't respond favorably. And Matt Powerland doesn't really respond to anybody from what I understand. So, not to say that they're not bad guys, not to say that they are shills. It's just they're not as open to communication like Mark is. Mark's very open. He's very, very reachable.
Yeah, I said this.
To get a hold.
I said this before. I just don't understand why he is so attacked like that. There are not many flat earthers like him who actually put out their telephone number. So he's talking to you. He's talking to me. He's talking to other people. He's having his hot potatoes shows, and he's also doing a lot of his own work. And he's talking to as many people as he can. What's the word? He's available. He's there. How many other YouTubers can you get to? Come on. How many you can get to Mark Sargent?
Yeah. I mean, just as an example, you know how long I've actually been trying to get a hold of Rob Skiba? For a really long time. I mean, I come across him on Facebook where we message back and forth, but yeah, you can't just pick up the phone and call Rob Skiba, you know? Like, try to find his phone number. You're not going to find it. And that's the same guy is just saying that he Mark's really out in the open for somebody trying to hide a whole bunch of stuff, you know?
So, can you just give your take on this whole thing with Mark Sargent then? You know, like, if you could so easily go onto the internet and find it, which I have the photographs, which I will add to this hangout. I'll put them on the top of this hangout so people can see them as we're going through the hangout. They'll see the pictures. But explain like what you found then. What's your take on what you found?
Well, what I found, it just backed up what I already knew. That the guy's not doing anything shady. He's such a normal person, it's ridiculous. Like, I bet you there's probably people out there that meet him that are probably let down because they're expecting so much more from this guy, you know? And he's just so unassuming, and seriously, and I completely say this out of love because he's such an awesome guy and I love him to death. He's really cool. He's the nerd that became popular later on. And when you're with him and talking to him, you can see this written all over his face and in his eyes. That's what got me. Like, when you're standing there in front of a guy looking him dead in the eye, and you can see, I could practically read how he was raised on his face by just looking at him, because he really just wears everything out on his sleeve, man. It's just, I don't understand what anyone's problem with him is. Because if you have a problem, get a hold of him.
I suppose you
let him know that you have a.
You went and looked up this stuff, maybe not by accident exactly, but you just wanted to go and look yourself, and you found all this stuff that nobody else can seem to find on the internet.
Basically, I just figured that something had to be out there.
And who is Mark Sargent registered to?
You mean Mark Sargent? You mean the website?
Yeah, sorry, marksargent.com. Who is it registered to?
It's registered to Ralph Real or Joe Real, because apparently from what I understand with his interview, his first name is Ralph, his middle name is Joseph. At the time when he was growing up, wasn't really popular to have a name like Ralph, considering the fact that everyone would be walking around making barking noises at you. So he went by Joseph instead. And if anyone listening to this has never met anyone that uses only their middle name and doesn't even like their first name, you need to get out and meet more people, because there's tons of people out there like that go strictly off their middle name and never use their first name.
Yeah, and so he bought marksargent.com then because he obviously wanted to make money.
Actually, not really. This was wanted to make money because it's a company, but they were really, from what I understand, what he was saying, they were trying to test the waters with a certain business model. They were trying to see if they could offer free downloads on an app, and then later on get people to subscribe to things, and basically let everyone in the door for free, but then charge them for drinks, kind of, you know?
This had absolutely nothing to do with Mark Sargent.
Mark didn't build the app. Apparently, he was just approached by Ralph or by Metatron, and when they did the website, they do websites, they do apps, they do media. Regarding the apps, the template for the app was built in like 2010 on both Patricia's and Mark's app history. And that's like with anything that you put on a computer, like any kind of file you put on a computer. You make your original draft or whatever, your original version, and then from there, every time you save, it updates it. Well, if it keeps track of the past history, so be it, you know? If 5 years down the road, that template now is able to be used for something else, that's what they did. I mean, they're a like a media company. They do apps and they do websites. Like, why wouldn't they have 100 apps sitting on some server somewhere just laying around, you know? Like, I mean, think about all the apps that they have like half built laying around their computers, like apps that they thought were going to be taken off and then never did, and are just in the back room waiting somewhere. And who knows, maybe in 2020, some app that they built in 2010 is going to be useful. And if they come out with it then and be like, hey, we got this great tool, check it out, go ahead and use it, it's completely free. I mean, if you go back and look at the history of the app, are you going to be like, oh, I'm not going to use that? Like, why? You wouldn't. I mean, there's no problem with that. So I don't understand why there's a problem with this now, you know?
What is this bit then with the blogging bit then? Why is it? Oh, he just turned up. What? He suddenly just turned up very recently with this company, and is this what it's all about? It's just what, in their eyes, one thing leads on to the other when it's not true. Hang on a minute. You can find him back many more years than that. You can find blogs he's on, yeah, and the apps is just something completely different. Nothing to do with any of that, and it's just what's your take like on this whole thing that's happened? It's a smear campaign.
Yes, and then on top of that, the company that Ralph owns, he's the CEO of, is Metatron. If you look at Mark and Patricia's app and you look at the company that made their app, it's made by Metatron. Okay. Big ODD on his video came out with a bunch of stuff on Metatron and about how they're trying to mine your information and they're spying on you and why does this app need these permissions? And okay, you know what? That's cool. Thanks for the research, ODD. But when I pulled up the the company and I started clicking around the website, it took me about 2-3 minutes to find that this company is moving towards like the floor of like the CBD market with a company in Colorado. Kind of interesting. ODD lives in Colorado. On top of that, ODD is but he's a big proponent of the use of marijuana. And so, I mean, anybody who tries to spread the truth about that, and if they came across this on that website, which it wasn't hard to come across, as a matter of fact, I think I clicked on it on accident, actually. And like, it's like right there on the front. It was really not that hard to get to. I don't understand why he wouldn't bring that up at all. I mean, it's part of the truth about this company, but he just wanted to talk about a bunch of, I don't want to say false things, because yes, they do have those permissions on the app, but they're not using it to mine your information. I forget what Ralph said that the permissions were in charge of, but it's pretty insignificant.
Anyway, and
on top of that,
everybody forgets that Facebook Messenger's doing exactly the same thing to millions of other people, and most people didn't realise that when they actually let that thing access their phone, that it was actually doing exactly those things. So Facebook are doing it.
Well, and that's the thing is, okay, so if you don't like the permissions that the app is asking for, nobody's got a gun to your head telling you to download this app. Don't download it. If you have a problem giving that app those permissions, don't download the app.
So this wasn't really about money exactly then. This was about maybe underhand dealings with people's apps, like being able to get in on your phone and that. That's what he's being charged with, yeah? Being connected.
Yeah, that's what ODD was trying to say about Metatron.
Being connected to that.
And that's what he's trying to say about Mark, that Metatron is using Mark to get to you to mine your information.
Well, we've been going for 20 minutes. Do you think that's enough information for this hangout? Because I've got the photographs, which I'll overlay over the top of the video afterwards to show that they're real and have got like Ralph's name on them, Mark Sargent's blog. Is there anything else you want to say, Josh?
No. No, that's it. Just yeah.
We love Mark Sargent.
Yes, we do, because he deserves to be loved, because you know what? He's earned my respect enough for me to actually care about this guy. I even started looking into this, because I don't think it's right. It's completely wrong. It's completely, at first it didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense when you actually stop and break it down. What does make sense is the fact that ODD is or was supposed to be the first presenter at the Flat Earth Conference. You know what? Maybe ODD got cold feet. I know he's a performer and all. I know he's performed on stage, but it's a little bit different when you're basically being the leadoff hitter at the International Flat Earth Conference, pretty much in front of the whole country who cares about this. Because there's going to be people like Bill Nye, there's going to be people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, there's going to be people like Alexander Krauss, what's his name?
So why didn't he just You know, like for our convention, there was someone who I really thought would turn up, but they decided that they didn't have anything to give, and I thought the same thing. Like, well, why wouldn't you just want to be there? Why wouldn't you just want to help and be there and do the odd thing and show that you're? But they didn't. So maybe why didn't he just go the easy way, like make an excuse and not go? Why did he have to do this? Why did he have to want to turn everybody against Mark Sargent when if he actually did his own homework, he'd find out what he's presenting is rubbish?
Well, maybe he's better at deception than just flat out lying. Because for him to do that, that would just be a flat out lie. Like, oh, I can't make it because of this. That's kind of like you calling into work trying to give your boss a bad excuse. It'd be much easier if you were able to tell your boss that you weren't coming into work because you thought that your coworker was a CIA agent and you were afraid for your life.
So basically, this whole thing stinks. The whole thing stinks, and it's been pushed onto Mark Sargent when it's other people's stink.
Yeah, and like I've mentioned to you before, even if Mark Sargent was a CIA shill operative, and even if Patricia Steer was a transvestite CIA operative. That's just, oh my God, when you put all that together, that just sounds so ridiculous coming out of your mouth, right? Like when you put that whole title together, it just sounds comical, you know, like a complete farce. And either way, even if that was completely true of both those people, it still not changed the fact that the world is still flat.
Yeah, and it's really amazing that they turn on those that are trying at least and putting themselves out there. Like you say, how many flat earthers can you get to? But you can get to Mark Sargent. He puts himself there so you can call him, email him, have hangouts with him.
I mean, okay, to the point where, check this out, on his last show, where a bunch of trolls called in on his show, actually, I think that was a show where the most trolls I've ever heard call in and give him a bunch of crap. But Lucy, who met him at the meetup in Pasadena that me and my friend Josh Vale invited him to, when we flew him over here to California, when she was talking to him, she told him that she was going to call his show and to keep an eye out for it. Well, when he was on the radio the other night, she called the show. He realized who it was. Like, because he's real, you know, like he's a real person. Like he actually cares. Like genuinely cares.
Yeah, I don't know what people think. I think we are.
He never says anything nasty about anybody.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, hell, Eric Dubé's been on his case for what, over a year now, and Mark's never had anything but nicer things to say about Eric.
He never talks about anybody else. He never bitches. He's usually a really happy chappy, and yeah, he's great.
Yeah, show me a time where Mark's in a bad mood. Show me a video clip where he's in a bad mood.
Maybe last night. He wasn't very happy last night, but then his whole reputation had been thrust out just before this conference.
You know what? Honestly, I think it might bother him a little bit.
Well, it would me.
I don't think it's gonna get to him too bad. Because that's not him. Like he's built differently than that. It seems like. I mean, I don't want to speak for him or anything, and I don't want to. It's not like I've known him for freaking years or anything. At least have a better idea than a lot of people about him.
I don't understand. He's somebody that wants to be involved.
Actually met him.
He meets the people. He goes to functions. He goes out for dinners and meets with Patricia Steer. Yeah. He actually meets the people. Just look at all these YouTubers who are slagging them off. Can you meet them? Don't reckon you can.
Exactly. No. As a matter of fact, it's funny that this is all coming back to ODD because do you realize that I out to California at the same time I invited Mark. I have yet, like, this is like 2 months ago now. I have yet to hear any response back from ODD at all. And on top of that,
Me too.
I know someone who talks to ODD all the time. Like, and so I got a hold of him, and this guy was trying to help me get in contact with ODD. He actually passed my information on to ODD to make sure that he had it. And like, he would check back with me every couple of days to about a week, and he'd be like, "Hey, has he hit you up yet?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't heard a damn thing from him." And he's like, "Well, let me ask him." And so, yeah, still haven't heard a thing. But yet, Mark Sargent's a shill. Okay, like, yeah, Mark Sargent's the CIA agent, but nobody can get a hold of your ass. Okay, that works. So it's just weird. You know that old saying, the pot calling the kettle black? That's exactly what's going on right now.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm just very pleased that, obviously they're doing their own thing, but it's just that you came in talking the other day because you found this stuff, and I probably wish I'd done it the other day. With what's happened, I think what had happened had already happened with ODD in this video, but it's really awful that you have to go on that much of a defence thing to actually prove everything, and the people making the accusations didn't even do their homework correctly. So all these videos everybody's made are just relying obviously on somebody else's information that didn't go look it up correctly.
Yeah, and you know what? Mark is too much of a go with the flow kind of guy that he's not going to defend himself on this. He has defended himself about as much as I think he's going to on his radio show and a little bit on Patricia's show. And you know what? I think he's done with it. I think either leave him on it or follow this half-assed research and go for it. I don't think it makes any difference to him, because it's not like he's going to be able to change your mind on how you think of him.
Well, we're all real people with real hearts, and I'm just a bit gobsmacked the sort of viciousness towards these people who,
Check this out. My friend, my roommate actually just told me something kind of funny right now. She goes, "Well, is it wrong for a CIA agent to think that the Earth is flat?"
I mean, what are they infiltrating? Yes, we've all got information and stuff, but like, what are they infiltrating? We go live, so our information's out anyway. So what are they infiltrating?
What if the flat Earth is infiltrating the CIA? Anyone ever think of that one?
I wish it would do it quicker. Anyway, we've been going for half an hour now. The whole point of this was to say that Josh found the truth. And, if he can find it, anybody can find it. And I'll stick the pictures in this recording. And, gosh, I hope this puts it all to bed for them. Someone else saying that it's lies. So thanks a lot for that, Josh.
Yeah. It's too much division going on. And I think that's exactly what this was set up for. I don't think the timing of it is by coincidence. The fact that it's 2 weeks before the conference. Yeah, of course. Why not, right? It'd be the perfect time to.
Well, this has been made for Mark and also Patricia, who's been helping him. But for Mark Sargent, this is for you. Okay, Josh?
Yeah, you know what? For Mark and Patricia both, because I talked to Patricia quite a bit on Facebook, and when I watched her show yesterday, it seriously brought a tear to my eye, seeing her having to go through looking at those pictures, talking about her mom and her mom's death, and that's all because of ODD, and that really pissed me off on that one, because he brought up the fact that she didn't even know her own mom's death date. And then this woman got online and went through the whole story with pictures live on YouTube. And she was starting to break down into tears. And it was so hard to watch. And between ODD and Antonio Subaritz, dude, you guys need to get your act together, man, because what you are doing to that woman is not cool. At all.
Can I just
Not
say
cool at
that
all,
this
dude.
this week I kind of had to do the same sort of thing myself, bring my personal life out. That was nobody else's business. You know, it's just disgusting that people have to do that
Yes,
to other people.
exactly.
Just for this ego kick. What I reckon is a lot of flat earthers think they're flat earthers, but they're still thinking with globe heads. They're coming with a globe head rather than coming with a flat earth consciousness.
You know what, Karen? It's muscle memory. Ceres talks about this all the time. I talk to Ceres about this all the time, about muscle memory. That's all they know. You know, it's their
Yeah,
knee-jerk
they're
reaction.
still in
They
the
know
dog
they
eat
know
dog
nothing
world.
else.
It's the dog eat dog world. I'm a flat earther, but I'm still a dog eat dog.
Yeah. A flat earther, but I'll still stab you in the back first chance I get, kind of deal. You know?
Yeah. And the really sad thing is that everybody loves lapping up the drama rather than just thinking. I mean,
Yep.
we're lucky enough, you're lucky enough you've met Mark Sargent, and I'm lucky enough that I talk to him on email and he comes on some of my hangouts. And so maybe I'm more privileged to have talked to him and you as well than a lot of other people. But we know because we talk to him.
I feel just as privileged to be able to talk to you guys all the time as well.
Oh, well,
and him.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Privileged to talk to you as well. What I mean is that we all want a different way, not that way anymore, the globe world. And we've all talked quite regularly the fact that we feel we're quite spiritual people. So we would notice if he wasn't, or he was like what they said, we'd notice it, and we don't. We know he's a genuine person. We know because we deal with him, talk to him, and he just, anyway. So you've just proved it again. And as I say, I'll add the pictures that this is just all ridiculous. And if you did a bit of your own homework, then you'd find the truth. And it's just horrible that you have to go this far for the truth, when it was the truth. And the ones that are probably like calling him the kettle black are the ones that are not telling the truth, are they?
No. What if the pot was lying to the kettle?
Oh, dearie me. Well, the whole point of waking up to flat Earth was to have this flat Earth consciousness. And yeah.
Come on, Karen, say that 5 times fast.
Oh no, I can't. Anyway, we've got to end this recording because we've been going for 35 minutes now, and everybody has an attention span that only lasts so long. But thank you so much for that, Josh. I hope this really helps Mark Sargent. He can use this video if he wants as another people knowing that he's telling the truth.
Just as I don't want to call it a defense, but I guess there's no other word for it, right?
Against him, you mean?
Hey, you know what? There's a D word right there that actually is good. Defend.
Yeah, but I suppose defending yourself isn't such a good thing, though, is it? If you've got to keep defending yourself.
That's a very good point. I just thought about that. I was like, wait.
Yeah, defense is a good thing because you've got.
That kind of implies that you're in some kind of a fight. That's a bad thing.
Anyway, Josh, we're going to end this recording. So thanks very much, and again, we love you, Mark Sargent. Okay, Josh.
Yes, Mark. Very much. It was a pleasure meeting you, dude. And keep doing what you're doing. And Karen, you keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep getting on your panels with you. And I love talking. And I just love you, period, as a person. You're just like Mark. You're just genuine.
Oh, Josh, and the same back at you. It's been a pleasure having you on the Hangouts and for all your help. And we have some really good chats sometimes, don't we, anyway, on anything and everything.
Yeah, we touch on a wide range of topics sometimes.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to end the recording now. So this is for Mark Sargent again.